for Motohop on Air.
Welcome to episode 13.
Whee!
It is November 16th, a little after 9 p.m., right on time.
It's dark 30,
It is dark 30.
which could
been
be
dark.
any time of the day.
Yeah, this time of year, it just feels like it's dark continuously.
Something I didn't think about that we've talked on a couple different work calls, you know, now that I have a job and everything. Like, you don't think about the difference, or at least I didn't ever really think about the difference of where people are, even in the time zone. So, like, people on the East Coast have even shorter, like, it's dark even earlier. So, like,
Yeah,
am I thinking that right? Yeah, because the sun goes down to the
extent,
west.
but that's
so,
part
like,
of the reason why, like, the time zones are the way they are.
well, I understand that, but there's still like variation within East Coast time zone. It goes as far east as, I don't know, some islands probably in the Atlantic or even Maine, you know, it's super far east, and north and south, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, these are all very logical things. But like talking to someone in Connecticut today, you know, very east, very north, and they're like, man, it's just horrible. And I'm like, man, I didn't even think about that. But when you're on like
you didn't think that it could get worse.
yeah. But when you're on like a 4 o'clock call and you've got to like get up in the middle of the call and like turn your light on, it's just like, it's a whole ordeal. So I had to make the joke today. I was like, well, at least your skin gets lighter as it gets deeper into winter. So like in a few weeks, we'll glow in the dark and we won't need our lights.
I guess that could be a benefit.
Yeah, I just leave my lights on all the time. I glow. I just glow.
Well, what do you have in your cup? Anything good?
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just a Menards special.
Yeah.
You know, every time we go to Menards, we try to find some random drink to purchase. We've had some pretty good luck with some of their low sugar, like low calorie. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of artificial sweetener in there compensating for the sweetness. So by no means do I think that this is a pinnacle of health, but it's a low calorie orange cream soda drink, and it's a little bit less on the not so carbonated spectrum, like flat, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know that it's supposed to be, but I'm okay with that.
It is very bright.
Yeah, I poured it out of the amber glass. Is it jar? Bottle. That's the word I'm looking for. And I was like shocked. It's like darker than, it's like turmeric orange drink.
Yes.
Like it looks like our turmeric drinks that we have purchased, and seems a bit unnecessary, which I'm sure is artificial for the fact that it comes in a non-transparent bottle. What's the point of adding all that color to it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird how orange it is for it being in a amber brown bottle.
Well, even being like oranges and cream, you don't expect it to be like tomato soup, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they actually use something that causes it to be orange.
Maybe they actually use turmeric. I'll have to look. Yeah. What do you got? What did you come up with? What did you decide on? You were putting way too much energy into it.
What brand is that ginger ale stuff? Is it
It's Reed's, yeah. From
Reed's
Costco.
Cranberry ginger ale.
Is life-altering.
With some Sailor Jerry's spiced rum.
How is it?
Delicious.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you like it. That's just weird. You're just putting spiced rum in everything.
Because I have spiced rum currently.
You're going to put it in eggnog?
Probably.
Ugh.
I mean, it's either that or bourbon.
Or just eggnog in your eggnog.
Also that. I do just enjoy me some eggnog.
Well, it's out. 'Tis the season. All the good flavors, and all the unique flavors. I don't really think that we're too much into like the really cliche ones. You know, we go after the cranberry ginger ale, but we're not too big into like mochas or anything like that, especially around Christmas time. So you're into the eggnog. I like the cranberry ginger ale. I think I found that because I just love ginger drinks. So
it's fantastic though, because we can get like, I don't know, what is that, like a 30 pack?
8. I don't think it's 30. It might be. I don't know.
It's a lot
18
from
or
Costco.
24. It's probably 20.
It's at least 24. There's no 18 going on there. It's at least 24.
Well, it's not inexpensive either, but it's worth it. I think it's worth always having
fantastic.
At least one high-priced non-alcoholic drink on hand to make you feel fancy. Because I think everyone deserves to feel fancy. I can hear your ice in there. It sounds delicious. It sounds like
It is
a
delicious.
hot summer day, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which it is not.
No, it is not. I rode today, though.
Brr. Well, it was
Yeah.
warm for about 10 minutes.
It was.
I walked the dogs and was sweating when I came back.
When I left to go to work, it was, I think I checked the temperature and it was like 50 something. It was supposed to get up to the low 60s. And I was like, well, as long as I don't leave too far after dark, I'll just take a flannel. I'll be fine. I have like my armored Kevlar reinforced flannel. That did not cut it on the way home.
Yeah, but like dark 50 is a lot different than sunny 50.
Yeah. It was a bit chilly. Still did a little loop on the way back.
I was gonna say it's not that far
Good
though.
time. Yep.
A quick 2 miles if you come home.
If I come straight home.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, I don't know how long that loop is.
Probably a couple more miles. You'll just record it someday.
Yep.
Come back. I mean, the more you think about it, it's not going to give us an answer.
No, for sure. Do we want to do the good, bad, and ugly?
I don't know. You seem kind of offended by the concept of it.
I still don't quite understand the ugly concept, but if we keep doing this, maybe I'll figure it out. So
just play along. I don't understand
go
motorcycles, and I keep doing it. So, I mean,
yeah.
so I guess here we are, just trying to figure it out.
So
good. Still employed.
Yes.
Been a week and a half.
That is exciting.
Got a really nice computer. I actually had something and I can't remember what it was. So we'll just go with that.
Okay.
Bad. I guess we could say just the fact that it's dark all the time.
Okay.
And ugly is going to be the fact that the leaves in our yard have not just like spontaneously combusted on their own and they're still sitting there.
Okay.
So do you think you get it? I mean, this week hasn't been nearly as like traumatic with our home projects or anything,
I
so
still
nothing's
think
really standing
using
out.
the ugly for the category that you've described to me a few different times still doesn't make sense, but I'm going to
Just play along.
figure it out. So the good, getting to ride today, I suppose.
Yes.
The bad, the giant temperature swings we experience at this point in the year.
Like night and day or like...
Well, in day to day and all
60
over the
to 30.
place. We're like a high of, what was it?
hasn't-
64 today, a low of 36 tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to be raining. And by next week, we're going to have our high. You're going to enter full seasonal depression if you haven't already looked at the weather.
I've heard.
A week from today, the high is 28.
I kind of heard... Well, here's the thing is I follow people on Instagram who are in... Well, Western Midwest. So is it Minnesota? I think so. Like I kind of watch what they're getting.
Yeah.
And we usually get the same fluctuation. So I'm mentally prepared. I saw they had like a similar. Yeah, I do plan on crying. I've got it in my schedule.
We are slowly running out of temperature.
I stopped taking my Sammy because it was giving me weird dreams. My seasonal over-the-counter attempt at
Minimizing seasonal depression.
Yeah, and it was giving me like crazy dreams about like every night I would marry someone else, and it was just really stressful. So I need to. I remembered taking it before bed, like that was my routine. But even on the packaging, it says not to take before bed because there's something in it that's like could mess up with your sleep. But I thought it would be like, oh, I'm tired, like I can sleep through it, not like it's going to
So
like
maybe keep taking it, but take it as directed.
Oh.
Not before bed.
That's fine, but like now I've completely forgotten to take it for 2 weeks because I'm struggling with the concept of remembering anything in the morning.
Okay.
So we're surviving, not thriving, but surviving.
And then for the ugly, I think that's going to lead us into one of the notes I had here.
Oh boy.
Having no updates on the Moto Compactor.
Why haven't you
yet.
called them yet?
Because I'm trying to not be that customer.
You're allowed to call them once. I think you need to at least touch base once if you want to have this before Thanksgiving, if you have a couple extra days off.
Yeah.
Because you're going to kick yourself if you don't have it. But who knows? Maybe they just forgot to call or, it seems like they were a little bit wishy-washy of knowing whose responsibility it was to even order it. So a little bit of accountability isn't bad.
Yeah. I think it's going to be...
They told you middle of November and it's the 16th. So you can check in, and by now they should at least have an update, even if
I
they
know,
don't
but
have.
if I check in now, then I can't check in next week without being like annoying. So I think I'm just gonna wait till next week.
You just stop in.
I almost did. I rode past them on the way home, kind of intentionally, to make sure I didn't see any sitting in the window.
Hey guys, I don't know if my scooter's gonna make it. Do you have any 2-wheeled vehicles I can buy?
But they are, Reddit posts are popping up. People are getting them more and more.
Yeah.
A few Instagram posts. We have learned from one Redditor.
Redditor, is that what they're called?
Yeah. A Reddit user, a Redditor.
I've never heard that before.
A Redditor. Turns out, if you have, I believe he wore size 14 shoes, interferes with the front wheel at extreme steering angles.
Now, I know that's large for a shoe. Is that extremely large? Like,
It's getting up there to the point that
I would imagine someone with that big of a foot is fairly tall to begin with. I wonder how the rest of them works on it.
he posted
Have
pictures.
his knees hit.
No, but, I think all of us to some extent are going to look like,
Goobers.
yeah. I mean, it's a briefcase.
Looks ridiculous. I want one.
Yes. Multiple.
Okay, well, $5 service fee for anyone who suggests new vehicles to Matthew Hopkins. It's going to my therapy. My copay is like about $40 a visit, so I think it'll balance out fairly well. I've got a few more friends to threaten with that.
Yeah. Fun in some ways. We have a recall that isn't a Harley for once,
High five, or a BMW.
or a BMW.
We had a few
but we had
BMW.
like back to back to back Harley recalls.
There's also so many Harleys out there that it's kind of like, it's bound to happen.
So Triumph has a recall on the Rocket 3. Did you look at this at all?
I don't think I did.
So the issue, as I get this pulled up, is in regards to the rear brakes. The all 2020 through 2024 Triumph Rocket 3 GTs or Rs or TFCs could experience increased rear brake stopping distances.
Increased rear brake distance. Well, that's not good.
No, are you familiar with the Rocket 3?
I know what a Moto Compacto is.
The Rocket 3 has a huge engine in it.
Yeah, I pulled up a picture and woof, those exhausts. It's got 3 exhausts that come out in a dual that merge into a dual exhaust.
Yep, on the picture in the one article. Yep. Yeah.
Looks fast.
Depending on the year, 2 point something liter.
Looks like something you'd want brakes for.
Yes,
That's,
it is.
It's giving me
Quick
I
and
need
heavy.
brakes vibe.
Yep. So link will be in the show notes to the NHTSA recall. I think it's a PDF,
Ooh.
whatever it is.
Every single one of them, 100% of the population is being recalled.
Yeah, they're just going to swap out, it sounds like, to a larger diameter piston for the master cylinder. I think it's going from a 12.7 to a 14 millimeter. Basically, they found that as these bikes age, and therefore the brake fluid ages with it, the bubbles that can develop just over the lifespan of the brake fluid, the current master cylinder is not large enough to deal with them adequately. But it also sounds like this isn't going to be like a sudden loss of braking, more of a gradual loss.
Oh, well, at least hopefully then people will be like, oh, red flag. Because some of these,
Yeah.
it goes back to October 2019.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot minute. And it says approximately 3,557. I like that they said
Pretty specific
approximately.
number for approximate, right?
Yeah. Love it.
Land Moto, who we've talked about in the past, has announced that they are entering wave 2 of their production.
Oh, that was a Cleveland.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Look at that. I learned something.
Yeah. So they are now starting at $69.95. They also have a performance package that I believe is free currently. Don't quote me on that. Check their website. Depends on when you're listening to this. But that upgrades you to some, I don't know, fancier brakes, I think, and then a rear Fox brand air shock. The price is more attractive. That gets you 40 miles of range. You're just beating your microphone over there.
It just jumped out of nowhere, I swear.
40 miles range at the base price. It went up to 7,000 and some change
Were
if you go to the 80 mile.
Were all the lands electric? Was that part of the? I don't remember.
Yes, when they spun off to do the electric, originally it was under Cleveland Cycle Works. I believe the original name for the model was the Falcon, maybe. And then they spun it out, and then eventually became Land Energy, whose website is Land Moto, and the bike is called the District.
Oh, yeah, I remember talking about that.
Yeah.
I like that name too.
Yeah, it is a cool
Nothing
name.
says urban like a name. The District.
Yeah. When land, like Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
And, it probably shouldn't put it in water.
Yeah.
Just in case you were confused.
Motorcycle Industry Council has announced Q3 numbers. Sales of new motorcycles and scooters are up 4.4% over Q3 of last year.
But was it last week we talked about
Harley
sales
down.
were down?
Yes.
Womp
It's
womp.
almost as if expensive motorcycles aren't selling well.
In the middle of a recession.
Yeah.
Where we're all unemployed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More interestingly, the dual sport segment was up 6.6%. So there's a reason why so many manufacturers are entering the adventure category. It says, there's a couple good quotes here. Popularity of dual sport motorcycles is the highest it's ever been, and off-road is steadily increasing. The third quarter of 2023 has marked the highest ever recorded quarterly sales for these types of bikes, and the year-to-date figures also reflect the highest year-to-date sales in the history of the segment. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
That's a pretty promising jump. I mean, let's say there's room for error, like 3% or something. Like that's still pretty solid. And I wonder, this is how my brain is working, and it may not be true, but like there's a lot of on-road accidents, and I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago who refuses to ride on the road, but has been an advocate of off-road motorcycles.
Yeah, it's why track days have gotten popular. People get a bike to race a paved track. People
It's like you can still enjoy it without feeling like, okay, you might get hurt, but the chances of you dying are a lot slimmer.
Yeah.
It's just a different way to enjoy,
Yeah, still
similar
enjoying
thrill.
two wheels. Yeah. I think it's interesting that the numbers are more promising than it feels like if you look out into the world right now. I just see a lot of dealers with a lot of inventory, and I see discounts coming back and financing offers coming back, which are all great for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the dealers that the numbers are still up. It just doesn't appear that way on the surface.
Yeah, but something you've talked about with your own work too, like everyone just got acclimated to no inventory. So is it actually a lot of inventory, or does it just feel like a lot after a few years of
That's
manufacturer like
catching up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
Maybe
to
this
see if
is
someone's
normal.
actually got the numbers of like where the industry is. I know with the car industry, those numbers are pretty available, and they're still not 100%. Most manufacturers are still not 100% back to pre-2020 like day of supply numbers.
Well, yeah, but a lot of them have realized they can charge a little bit more, make a little bit less, and who knows if things will ever go back. If it does, I'd be surprised, just because they found advantages with creating a thirst for those vehicles.
Yeah. I don't know of any motorcycle manufacturer that just moved MSRPs up like car manufacturers did. I'm sure it was good for dealerships, though, kind of getting back to margins they used to get, because I know, and Phil at Cleveland Moto actually released a podcast not too long ago talking about the realities of kind of selling and owning a motorcycle dealership, and just where the margins have been eroded to. So I'm sure to some extent it was kind of a reprieve for motorcycle dealers being able to get back to margins that they used to make. But we're obviously seeing kind of a return to pre-pandemic discounts and financing offers. So,
which is, I mean, nice for us.
yeah,
as
like I said, good for
consumers.
consumers.
Yeah. It'll change. It'll feel more familiar when buying and stuff too. I don't know. I know it sucks is like, oh, people are shopping around doing this and that, but like we did that before. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Zero has announced some updates for their 2024 models. So I guess the big news is them unifying their platform mostly. They've now basically got it down to all the bikes with the exception of the FX and FXE are now on the same platform. The interesting thing to me, the DS and DSR are now going to have the same look as the DSR-X, which I think was, in my opinion, is an attractive bike. It is also in that adventure segment, which seems to be where sales are occurring.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
so I think it's probably a good move on their part.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's a good move. Even if it wasn't intentional, it's a happy accident to be able to tap into that market.
Yeah.
I accidentally clicked an ad. Oh my goodness.
And speaking of 2024, Yamaha has announced their returning models. The major hole that I noticed was the Star Venture. It was not listed. Now, there's still a chance they could announce it. It's not on their website. It was not in the announcement. I checked the website. The entire, they had that bike, at one point they'd recategorized it under what they were calling transcontinental touring. That whole category is missing. I'm trying to remember. I'm sure for one of these stories, I was on motorcycle.com, came across an article that they posted called Riding with a Passenger.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was published on November 10th. The main picture is the Yamaha Star Venture.
Uh-oh.
Several pictures throughout the article are the Star Venture.
Uh-huh.
And the article was sponsored by Yamaha. So I'm wondering if there's a miscommunication here, or if they are going to bring it back. They already killed off the Eluder version of it, which, if you don't know, was basically that bike, but without the trunk on it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I figured not. But it's kind of, I don't know, sad to me in the sense of I've kind of followed that bike for a while. My dad's got the previous generation of kind of what that bike was. And it was one of the few kind of cruiser style touring bikes that took a radically different styling direction. But I kind of feel in some ways that they missed the mark, because the one thing that separated that bike was the previous generation had a V4 engine. And they claimed that according to focus groups, people wanted a V-twin. The problem is that's what everyone else offers. You go get a Kawasaki V-twin, a Harley V-twin.
Yeah.
At the time, Moto Guzzi was still making their V-twin. Was it the MGX 21 or whatever? So when Yamaha went to the V-twin, they kind of lost the character that was the Star Venture. So I guess not entirely surprising if that bike goes the way of the Dodo, but
Maybe it
sad
costs
to
too
me.
much to be
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot I had this one on here. This was on Power Sports Business. I had an ad pop up for Buell promising nice margins.
Oh, isn't that a really expensive one?
So if
That
we
said
talked
they
about,
hit like 100,000 or something.
it was like, no, it was
And
like,
it was like 30 bikes.
120
or
million or something. We figured out like what that actual number was.
Nice margins. Well, wait, their price margins are nice. Like they're getting like
Well, it was an ad
their
to,
profit margins are
for,
nice.
I'm not going to call it a dealer because they're not calling it a dealer. So I clicked on it to find out some more. So what's interesting is they've announced previously that they want to have kind of a non-dealer buying structure. And they do have bikes they're making right now. The big one everyone's been talking about is the Super Cruiser, which doesn't exist yet, but they are putting out Hammerheads and 1190 SXs. So you can be, basically there's 3 different tiers. You can be just a service center. You will schedule and perform service on Buell motorcycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, and it says you'll get generous payments for referrals, parts and accessory discounts, etc. They also have this display room and authorized service center. So the display room, it's for Buell's direct-to-consumer sales.
Direct to consumer. So
you will display the bikes, but you do not sell the bikes.
what?
So
Why would someone want to do that?
Well, you don't have to manage inventory because you don't have to buy the bikes to then sell to the customer.
You also don't get the markup on a bike.
Well, you do get some type of referral payment, right?
Like an affiliate program.
Yeah, kinda. So you get one Buell Hammerhead, and it says depending on availability, one Buell 1190 SX, owned by Buell for display only, no test drives, demos, etc.
Of course.
You can pick it up at the factory for free, or they will ship it, but you'll pay for the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
But you have then 2 bikes just hanging out there in your service center, and when someone buys a bike, it sounds like Buell sends it to you, maybe not, and then you obviously get a referral payment of some sort for displaying the bike and hoping the customer decide to buy the bike.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what else is interesting?
What?
The inconsistent bullets and font sizes on this website.
You would notice that.
Oh my goodness.
And then beyond that, they do have kind of, I guess, technically 2 levels of kind of the same thing, where you're they call premium showroom, just being a traditional dealer. You buy motorcycles and then sell them to the customer. So this is interesting because this is another manufacturer trying to go the Tesla model and eliminate the dealer in the middle. I know there's some dealers that in some ways are intrigued by this idea of like dealing with the service side of it, not having to deal with massive inventory. Where I think the hiccup is it allowing both to exist kind of causes an issue, because now you have dealers, full-blown dealers, selling against the manufacturer. The manufacturer is always going to win.
Well, they're going to make sure of that, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, they can. Because they don't have to charge markup like the dealer does. The dealer's got to make something, otherwise it makes no sense for them to sell the bike. The manufacturer could sell it to the consumer for the same cost they sell it to the dealer if they wanted to, because they're obviously making money when they sell it to the dealer.
Yeah, it's weird. It gives weird vibes. It's like drop ship motorcycles.
I've dealt with a relationship like this with a different product that I deal with at work. It has not gone over well over the years.
I feel like you're missing out on some of your like experience there, like brand experience, like there's not going to be any loyalty. Like literally all you have is the product. If you don't have the people to buffer a product, like your salespeople and experience to like give you a 1-up, that's 100% of like, did it get here on time? How did it look? What's the product like? Which I know like is the ultimate end goal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the loyalty to them would be very low. There'd be no reason to be loyal. There's no experience.
Yeah.
I mean, part of even just buying a Harley is the experience of like,
for better or worse, going to the dealership.
Just being part of something.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something to be said for like the Tesla model and just not having to deal with the dealer. I totally get that.
No one likes Tesla people anymore.
Like, if you have a good dealer, like a great dealer is fantastic. Bad dealers are what make you want to avoid dealerships.
Well,
that and no one in, At least I don't think so. Few people anymore, I think, enjoy trying to haggle to know they got a good price.
Well, you can't really haggle when you're like clicking a button online, essentially, and just like ordering it, you know?
Well, exactly,
like,
but there's something like, if you know everyone else is paying the same price, we're all starting,
well, there's no
at the same
urgency to
place.
that either.
But whenever you're looking at a car and you may or may not pay, several $1,000s more or less than the next person, it's kind of a frustrating experience trying to know you didn't, get taken.
Like I said, it goes back to like the experience, kind of feeling like you got something out of it and having that experience buffer, because it's like, well, you keep talking about Tesla, so it's like I was kind of impartial to Tesla until like Muskie Boy ended up making some enemies, over the whole Twitter thing and everything. And now it's like I can kind of get on board to the people that don't like Tesla a little more. Like, obviously, I do not have like some refined opinion. Like, by no means do I think I'm an expert, but a lot of other people in this world are in the same boat as me, that it's like, okay, well, then if your company does one wrong thing, there's no buffer there. Again, there's not, I don't know.
There's no one to deal with your kind of frontline customer service issues or
everything else
issues.
Is so cut and dry of like.
I feel like the
service
centers are meant to take up some of that, and they can to some extent, but you mentioning Twitter reminded me. There was a story I intentionally didn't put in here, just because I didn't feel like it was that worth covering. I believe it was. Well, now I'm going to have to double check before I mention them. A company who I will confirm who it is in a minute was announcing their new AI-based operating system for their motorcycles. Yes, Verge. Verge motorcycles, I believe, are coming into the U.S. For 2024 model year. Their new Star Matter system.
Star Matter.
It was all of the buzzwords, and they worked with Epic Games. Why you went to a game developer for something motorcycle operating system related is beyond me. But on top of all this, like just over the top, I don't know. I enjoy tech. I don't know how much of it I want in my vehicle. Mm-hmm. But what cracked me up is Elon has renamed Twitter X.
At twitter.com.
It's still at twitter.com. If you go to x.com, it refers you to twitter.com. Everyone else in the world still is referring to it as Twitter and only mentioning that he has renamed it, even though it's all still Twitter and, I think the bulk of the universe to people. This was the first website I saw that renamed Twitter to X. Their link at the bottom right corner for their social medias, they have Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube.
I didn't even think about that.
First off, it looks dumb. It reduces your touch target. It's really tiny because it's one letter I have to click.
Is it like positive X, or is like X the negative space on a black square?
It is typed out.
I don't even see it. Oh, that's okay. So I thought maybe they'd use the icon.
Nope. All typed out. Just the letter X.
Okay, take your iPad back. It's scaring me seeing you hold it like that.
I found it hilarious, and it kind of, in some ways, made me feel like that was everything I needed to know about the story.
What do you need to do to like buffer? See, I'm worried about that footer on the website now more than like whatever we were talking about.
I forgot
before.
that
I'm like,
at the top of the show.
Can we add some like little squiggles or something to give a little bit of a oomph on the bottom of a footer?
Well, we at least have icons. I guess we'll mention that now before we jump into EICMA news. We redesigned the website.
Is that live?
Yeah, it's live.
Oh, dang.
Still work in progress. You might find some hiccups. But
I didn't know that.
Redesigned, new podcast page, easier to find links. Although if you're already listening to this, you probably don't need to find them. Merch will at some point migrate onto the website, although we'll still fulfill through Etsy. But just a cooler, easier place to hang out, hopefully.
I think Etsy's mad at us. I think we need to figure out who the person is who make decisions at Etsy so we can blame them like we blame Elon for things.
Yeah. Blame them for algorithm.
Yeah, I just
shadowing.
I really need a human to blame for my problems. So if we could figure out who owns Etsy, that would be great.
And the other thing I'm going to say is I don't love when people beg for likes and subscribes and everything.
But now you understand why they do it.
I'm going to just say, if you have a free minute, And I understand if you don't, but I would appreciate it if you did. If you're listening on a podcast platform that has ratings and reviews, leave us a rating and review. And if it's bad, maybe email me first. I'd appreciate a way to rectify it before you kill us.
And if it's really bad and you're like going to make me cry when I'm already about to cry for the next 3 months,
make sure you include your contact info so I can ship her over.
Maybe go have a drink or something instead of doing that.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to I don't want to say bribe because that's not what this is.
Incentivize
If someone wrote you a really nice review and then said, hey, if you order something on the Etsy store and you gave us a good review, let us know. And then maybe
on the platform.
We will, maybe we won't throw an extra sticker in your order. But you have to write a review.
Certain
and place an
platforms
order.
have rules against incentivizing. I don't know about podcast platforms. A lot of places it's totally fine. Welcome to Amazon, the Wild West of reviews, where people do all kinds of stuff in the gray area. Which is why
there's no enforcer. It's fine.
So, I don't know. If you leave a positive review and
buy something. I mean, there's a pretty big hurdle here. You can find us.
We might get you a couple free stickers or something.
Yeah. We got some stuff. We'll hook you up.
Yeah.
Let's be friends.
All right. On to EICMA. Part 2. Finishing out EICMA.
Woo.
I don't know if you saw the story. The top story in the EICMA section cracked me up.
Oh, no. Which is a shame, because that looks like something I would have enjoyed.
Yes.
Please tell us more. You want me to read the headline?
Sure. Yes. Read the headline.
Brazen bike bandits tried to steal a Kawasaki at EICMA.
Yeah. This is from Ride Apart's coverage by... Oh, I have no idea how to pronounce her last name.
She's our BFF.
Janaki.
She writes all the articles we cover.
Not all of them, but...
I think there's been one in the last...
What do you mean one?
Listen, there's been 1 or 2 articles in the last couple of weeks that weren't written by her.
What are you talking about? Just this episode, there's...
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
she didn't
6,
write
8...
from Ride Apart?
No, from entirely different websites.
Oh,
the way you just said it,
sorry.
I'm only following her coverage or something.
No, I only meant from Ride Apart. She's our top reporter at Ride Apart. She's the best. These are all good things I'm trying to say.
Anyways, so basically what happened was a father and son were like, hey, there's a bunch of people moving around on move out day. If we just slide in with these people who are shuttling bikes from booths to transport trucks, maybe, just maybe, we can just walk away with one. Well, it didn't quite work out. They basically walked over and they're like, yeah, these 4 bikes are supposed to be moved over here. And then later, someone checked back in and was like, what do you mean 4 bikes? Only 3 of them were supposed to be moved. What they didn't, I think, entirely count on was the amount of security present, because they shut down all of the exits almost immediately and started checking vehicles that were leaving. And ended up finding the bike in the back of a truck.
They almost got away with it.
Yeah. But the bike they choose to try and steal was a Kawasaki KX250X. Not a particularly expensive bike. You could have tried to pull a Ninja H2 out, any of the super sports.
I think the part I like about this, obviously I'm just skimming the last paragraph. One security got the word out about the theft of the KX250X. Members of the military proceeded to block the exits and search all departing trucks for the missing bike. Can you imagine being there and just... I mean, I don't know why there's military there to begin with.
So, because
did they have recruiting booths?
No. So, because they were worried about some of the kind of theft intentionally, and just security wanted a strong showing. So, if you read the one before, the paragraph before that, EICMA has a strong police and military presence on the show floor, even to the point of having display stands about police and military motorbikes.
Oh.
Unsurprisingly, that meant members of the military were on site during the show's teardown as well.
Poor choices.
Yeah.
And I would love to know what would happen to these people. I mean, certain people, I know it's illegal and it's theft. That's just so dumb. Like, there needs to be, like, a different level of, like, crime versus dumb crime. And I know, like, you can probably defend all crime as being dumb. But, like, some stuff is worse than others. You know, like, car accidents. You know, sometimes you're like, okay, that was, like, a legit accident. This is, like, you are so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be a different level of punishment for those people. And maybe it's not jail. Like, maybe it's, like, something more creative to, like, educate them.
Yeah.
And a father and a son. Oh, it's just...
It was a good attempt. Like, it was kind of smart because I've worked big, like, conventions before, and...
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and you, like, if you're working with a company that's doing your booth, like, you don't know everyone that works with them.
Yeah, and you probably
Right?
see those people. I mean, this show went on for a week, so, you know, you've seen what these people are wearing. You know, I can't remember what they call them. The people on site, the contractors, they make you pay bajillions of dollars to help you set up your booth and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean...
But it was a good idea, and they almost got away with it. It said shortly after the whole, like, them trying to transport 4 bikes, a security guard was having a chat with the Kawasaki manager when it was revealed that only 3 bikes were scheduled to be transported just then, not 4.
It's crazy that, like, it just came up in casual conversation.
Well, they managed to roll it out of the booth and obviously to their truck.
And, yeah, so they got, like, 3 out of the 4 right. Like, that was pretty lucky to get the 3 out of the 4 right and only the 1. However they figured that out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think where the real miss was they didn't show up and go, yeah, we're here to move the 3 bikes, and just show up before the team that's moving the bikes. But they wouldn't have known that.
They would have no idea.
Yeah. But I thought maybe you'd appreciate that story.
I love a good little theft situation. It's right up there with natural disasters. Love hearing about those too.
No, I also intentionally did not put the next one in the notes until just before we started.
Why?
Because I wanted it to be a surprise for you.
Oh boy.
So.
Oh my goodness.
We have new motorcycle luggage.
Oh
from,
my goodness.
I don't know how it's pronounced. Givi, Givi. One of the popular luggage brands. Released
small doggos, catos, and other pets of similar proportions can hop in and go for a ride with their humans.
Yeah. The I don't know, Givi, whatever, T525 pet bag was shown off at EICMA.
You want to know what the safety ratings are on these? Because we all know pets are just as important as humans.
So the T525 pet bag is a rear mounted luggage accessory. It is made out of 900D polyester fabric, so 900 denier. Semi-rigid structure, providing your dog, cat, or other furry friend with a secure housing. And in case you were wondering, maximum load capacity of 11 pounds.
Tiny. Okay, so both of our dogs aren't going to fit.
No, which means you're going to have to get your motorcycle license.
Oh my God. Our one dog would just have a heart. She just. So the one that wants to ride with me, we all know which one that would be.
Yes.
Our anxiety-ridden little Yorkie, who I think has destroyed a rug upstairs while we've been down here.
Probably.
The other one just really isn't into it. Like, she doesn't love riding on the bicycles and stuff. She honestly hates being in a crate. I don't think she'd do it.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
We'll have to get you a Cato.
But I figured maybe you'd appreciate
there's
pet-based luggage.
There's not even a lot of cats that are that small. Cats are chunk.
Yeah, it's obviously made for dogs.
Little babies.
little tiny dogs.
Little wawas.
Yeah.
You can fit 2 wawas in there.
You got some good pictures on here, though.
Yeah, thank goodness they actually put
on
them in there. These aren't no Amazon pictures where they just like
Photoshop the dog in.
Photoshop a picture of a dog they found in a magazine. Like,
yeah, here's the 60-pound Labrador photoshopped into this 12-inch cube.
Oh,
close.
My goodness. Yeah, although like you really can't tell that this dog is only 11 pounds. It easily looks like it could be 15 or 20.
Definitely needed a banana for scale.
A banana or tater tot.
Yeah. All right. Into full-blown bike portion of EICMA coverage.
Oh boy. That's a couple scrolls. All right.
So, the one I left out last week, which I'm glad I delayed because a few more details have come out. Benelli has, they announced a few new models. I believe it was some 500 twins.
Is that the biggest bike how is the biggest bike Benelli has? They're tiny, aren't they?
No, you're just thinking of the Benelli TNT 135. That's the smallest bike they make.
So they do have normal sized bikes.
Yes, with the exception of the TNT 135.
That's the only one I've ever seen.
Well, that's just like Honda. Honda does make more than the Grom, right?
Yeah, but I guess I just pay more attention to Honda.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So they announced 2 500 twins, the Tornado 500, and then the naked version of it. And then the bike that really intrigues me, the BKX 300. So the BKX 300 is really like, I don't know. When I think like adventure bike, my mind gravitates towards like a Dakar style bike. And this thing's kind of going that direction. Now, its bodywork on the front doesn't extend all the way to the lower end of the bike, but the kind of front upper portion is very kind of Dakar rally-esque. The colorway, I think, is fantastic, but I'm partial to white bikes. They showed it off in white with black and kind of highlighter yellowy green accents. What would you call that? Chartreuse?
Yeah, the most normal, an average person would call it highlighter.
Yeah. But so 300, they're saying that they'll probably make it in 125 and 250 cc configurations for certain markets.
Are those lights in the middle of... Okay, obviously there's lights on, and they're kind of like these little hockey stick things.
And you're talking the two like square things?
The things that look like
those are the actual
pins.
Headlights.
Okay, why didn't they turn a light on for these pictures?
I don't know.
They look like... Is it
the piece to the left and right of that? Thing? I don't know that those are illuminated. They may just be plastic.
Oh, those aren't even on. They're just oddly highlighted.
They may
the
be
rendering.
like a light accent,
Yeah,
but in the pictures you can't really tell if it's...
No, when you scroll down, you're right. I did not realize that. It's just a weird highlighting of it.
Yeah. But handguards, at least standard on the bike they showed off. I like the cockpit area mostly because it's kind of a simple gauge setup. I'm still not completely sold on giant TFT displays yet. I will accept the thin film transistor. It's a form of LCD technology. Basically,
they don't have a picture of it on here.
What, the gauge?
Yeah.
If you go to the first link and scroll all the way to the bottom,
yeah, that might have been my
you'll
first
see
problem.
it is a much simpler display. Just probably single color LCD. They don't show it on. We'll see where it lands price wise.
Looks like a pager. Is that it?
I mean, it's I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times the display of a pager. But yes, it is simple and longer or wider than it is tall. 180 millimeters of suspension travel. I don't have the conversion off the top of my head. But a cool little 300. Again, we'll see where it lands price-wise. As manufacturers really fill in this lower place, it'll be interesting to see where, not to beat a dead horse here, see where the Royal Enfield Himalayan lands price-wise. Because I think they're going to have to get more competitive.
Himalayan's going to have to get more competitive?
Well, because they redesigned the bike and came out with this water-cooled 450, which normally as you add technology to a bike, you think the price is going to march upwards, and that bike's already marched upwards price-wise. The funny thing to me is this Benelli BKX 300 has a output of almost 30 horsepower, making 17 pound-feet of torque. Nothing super crazy there, but 30 horsepower out of a 300, 6-speed gearbox, like it seems everyone else, slipper clutch. If this thing can come in, I really think they're going to land this thing at probably 4,000. If they can come in around there, I think it might be a money printing machine.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah. Let's see who is next. Oh, MV Agusta. Okay. MV Agusta, we've across the interwebs been following their adventure bike that I'm going to say we knew, but I guess we didn't technically know. Everyone was pretty sure they were going to show off at EICMA.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, this bike, when they showed off the concept, was named the Lucky Explorer, which was named after one of their Dakar bikes. Lucky, though, as in Lucky Stripes cigarettes, because that was the sponsor on the bike.
Oh.
So there was kind of assumption that they weren't going to go with the Lucky Explorer name. I forget what other name was floated for a while. They didn't go with any of that.
LXP?
They're calling it the LXP Orioli.
It's kind of like Lucky Explorer, LXP.
And I think that's where it is. I think that's where the LXP is coming from. The Orioli portion comes from the last name.
Rally Racer.
Yeah.
Senator's picture.
I'm trying to find it. I don't remember his first name.
Oh, it's EDI. Eddie?
Yeah, there you go. He...
Probably not. I don't know. What country is this from? Italy. I'm probably ruining it.
He had raced their bike. It's kind of what everyone expected. I think the only real shocker here was the name.
It's got an interesting, side exhaust? What is that gill thing it has?
Gill thing?
Yeah, here. Picture?
Oh, that'd be just kind of like air movement space in the kind of front upper fairing.
Oh, it looks like it has like a grid on it.
Yeah. An intriguing entrance into the adventure category. Not a ton of triples in that space yet. 931cc triple, developed and manufactured entirely in Italy. They claim the engine only weighs 126 pounds. It's putting out about 124 horsepower. So that puts it above Tiger 900, Africa Twin, the Ducati Desert X, KTM 890 Adventure, 75 pound-feet of torque with 85% available at just 3,000 RPM. That's pretty good. It seems to check the boxes. Kind of bummed they didn't go with the Lucky Explorer name, though. I don't know if do you remember, I don't know if you ever saw them. You probably saw them in passing. The Joe Cool branded sport bikes back in the day.
Joe Cool as in Snoopy?
No, as in the Camel, like Camel cigarettes.
Oh.
Nah. Yeah, I don't know. Old cigarette advertising, I've always got a soft spot for. Understand why people, I don't know, hedge away from it anymore, but
I always forget people still smoke.
They do have some kind of throwback stuff. There's like the Lucky Strike red circle on the handguards, and there's some color accents incorporated. That kind of reliefed area, which, like I said, I don't know exactly what they're doing there, kind of completes a circle on the side of the bike to incorporate that Lucky Strike logo look. The LXP, I guess, is as close as they wanted to get, but it's their bike. They can name it whatever they want.
Still fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just a name.
I totally forgot to put links in here for you.
I just thought it was like something.
Quick Google, if you care.
Okay, what do I need to Google?
Just the second part there. Second sub point. So Moto Morini showed off some new bikes. They show off 750 and 1200s. The only one I think is worth mentioning at all is the Escape or X-Cape 1200.
They're really like running out of naming conventions for these bikes. X-Cape? Oh, my brain hurts.
So X-Cape 1200. It's a V.
That's a big bike.
1200cc V-twin.
Or that's a really small girl.
It's a decent sized bike. I find this interesting. This in some ways is kind of in the same category as a Harley Davidson Pan America as far as big displacement V-twin adventure bike. I guess there's a couple other entrants, but this is probably the closest one in displacement to it. The thing that I look at is I wonder what the general public is going to think, in the sense of it's an Italian name, but there's like Benelli's another example of this. The bikes aren't Italian made anymore. They're coming out of China.
So are our American flags.
Well, fair point. So as they enter these kind of big displacement touring bike categories that command higher dollar amounts, typically, like your over $20,000 Pan Americas and BMWs, will your consumer that considers a Moto Morini understand that it is not necessarily the same as a Harley or a BMW? Now, granted, the manufacturing keeps getting better, but I don't know if it's the same place to put it on par with the established non-Chinese brands.
What's the price point on one of these bad boys?
They haven't released it yet.
Oh, this isn't like something they already kind of carry, just upgraded to like no...
Well, they have another XK, but I forget what size it is right now. 500, 600, something like that. The 1200 is new.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine
So,
it's going to land in the teens.
I was going to say that would be a big decider, that it's like sometimes people are willing to compromise quality for price.
Yeah, but what's
if
that
it's-
number? Like,
Well, and it's all perceived. It all depends on person, and to an extent, it's just up to people to do their homework and figure out what's important to them. I mean,
I just think
are all
about
of
it to
these
me and it's
available
like,
stateside?
they're going to be at some point. What I read through this and I'm intrigued by the bikes. I love the name. I'm glad it's coming back in some capacity. I just worry about people buying it without fully understanding what it is, number one. And two, like, what is that price differential that makes it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not going to be as many dealers. Parts availability isn't going to be as good.
Well, it's going to be
Is
like
the quality going to be the same?
some loyal people that if they're going to race, would they race this bike ever or no?
I mean, I guess you could.
I mean, that would change.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting bike nonetheless. 1200cc V-twin adventure bike. Love me some V-twin. Sign me up.
You know what I think they should do?
What?
Market women's things like they market men's things. Like, I would like to see what my purse looks like in a man's hand. They're putting all these females on bikes. Like, marketing is just so funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No, they're trying to get more women riders.
yes and no. And you get
And half of it is all.
you get guys to look at the girls too. I mean, it's like bonus points there. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't really care about that. But I just think about how funny it would be to market things for women. Like, you market things to men.
See
and
what
how
it looks
weird
like.
it would be. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Advertise
assume-
purses like, this is what it's going to look like when your husband's holding it for you.
while you're in the bathroom. Yeah, that's what a wild life.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
All right. To round out EICMA coverage, 2
Yes.
scooters.
Okay. I looked up some scooter things. I think I might have researched some of these.
All right. We're starting with Italjet, who is known for their dragster.
Okay, yes. So I had to do a Google after this
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what the difference is between a scooter and a motorcycle. Because at what point are you blurring that line?
I don't know, but man, keep blurring it, baby. This thing is sweet.
So, like, what is your definition of the difference between a scooter and a motorcycle?
A bike is or a motorcycle is within the scooter category to me.
Okay, so all bikes are
All scooters are motorcycles.
all scooters are motorcycles, but not all
motorcycles are scooters.
Okay.
Right? So it is a scooter to me if one, it has leg shields. Now there are
Okay.
exceptions like cut downs. But from the factory, leg shields, step through design.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the limit as far as I drive the definition.
So if
Now, there's some people that get into swing arm mounted motor as a requirement. I'll take it or leave it.
So if you took
Mm-hmm.
your little potato in the garage,
The Harley?
yeah,
Okay.
and you put leg guards on it, and you
Leg shields?
yes,
Uh-huh.
play along here,
Yeah.
and modified it so a step through design, you chopped it. Does it become a scooter?
I don't know because it didn't start life as a scooter, and I'm having a hard time envisioning turning a Sportster into a scooter. Could I make a scooter with a Sportster engine? Yes.
Does that rev your engine?
Oh boy, does it. There's something about just comical amounts of power in a scooter frame that excite me.
The fact that like dragster scooter was used in the same sentence.
So they've had a dragster
mind.
model, like that's been their model name for a while. So they've had different dragsters.
Do they actually race
They've
them?
had 180s. I mean, I'm sure somewhere someone races them. If anything has a motor or an engine, it's been raced at some point. Define race, right?
Well, I mean professionally. When you say dragster,
I don't know. There's probably someone in a semi-professional scooter tour that has raced one. This is not like a Top Fuel scooter, right? But so they've made, I think, a 150 and a 180 over the years, and we found out a couple years ago the name was being revived. I think we're supposed to get them in the U.S. this coming year. They're going to be distributed by Genuine. But this one, I don't know if it'll make it to the U.S. I hope it does. We had talked about, I forget who made that one we talked about, probably 4 or 5 episodes back that had a ridiculous engine in it as well. Anyways, Dragster 559 twin. 58 horsepower, 6-speed manual transmission.
Yeah, because the one definition I read is that a scooter has a CVT.
No. Originally, scooters did not have CVTs. Got to throw that out the window.
Well, I understand that now. I'm just telling you that is a potential belief out there.
Yeah.
So how fast does this go?
Oh, I don't know if they posted a top speed. Did you see that somewhere?
No.
I don't know. 58 horsepower will move you along pretty good. Should be better for more than 100.
Newton meters, all these weird overlapping measurement units that I don't comprehend.
Here's my question. What is the passenger rating on this bike?
I don't know if I want to ride in the back.
Do you see the little
dragster?
Do you see that little perch up there for you?
Perch, yeah, that's
about all I could call it. I wouldn't call that a seat. It's kind of a padded
the little
perch.
thing that goes up. That doesn't even look padded.
No, it's padded.
I thought that was the backs, like.
It's also the driver backrest.
Backrest.
But
Someone's supposed to sit on that thing?
Well, yeah, there's passenger pegs there.
I want to give it like a 1 out of 10.
Oh, I figured it was going to be negative.
Oh, let's not get crazy. Negative is like I've already fallen off.
But yeah, 58.3 horsepower, 30.5 feet-pound or pound-feet of torque. Fuel injected, twin. If you're in Europe, it's going to be sold in an A2 restricted version, detuned to 48 horsepower. The thing's just phenomenal.
It's just crazy.
Give me big engine scooters. Bring back manual scooters. I love it.
It's crazy to think about what Europe comes up with. And what would that be like? How many states in the U.S. and Europe has insane amounts
all
of
the
like,
crazy
industry?
Bikes. Yeah.
Yeah, like between Italy and you said Europe, but I'm assuming most of it's Italy. And where is this?
Italjet. Italy. Like
this
Italian.
is Italy as well?
Yeah. Italjet. Yeah. Italian.
So literally Italy, the size of my boot, has more bikes, it seems like, than the States, which I'm sure isn't true. We probably have some. Do Harleys sell in other countries?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we had something everyone else didn't.
No. It's much bigger here than their export numbers are.
America.
Other people want Harleys as well.
Okay.
But yeah.
So if we go to Italy, Can I like eat cheese?
On the back of a Italjet Dragster 559, yes. As long as you can hold on. We'll see. It might throw you off.
I don't know that. I don't think. Well, at least like European insurance is a lot better than the States. If I'm gonna like fall
Health
off of
insurance?
something, I'd like for it to be in Europe.
Fast. Oh.
What are you talking about? I don't want
If
to
I fall off something, I want it to be something fast. Be like, did you see how fast we were going?
Oh my
That thing's so
God.
quick.
Obviously, you don't plan on falling off.
That thing shot out from under me.
Oh
I
my
punched it and I couldn't stay on.
And I wonder why I don't like riding on bikes.
Well, first off, it's not like I've ever ridden obnoxious or fast with you.
I'd cry.
Yes, you would.
Probably pee a little.
Yeah. And then the last one, near and dear to my heart, Lambretta. Now,
Why is it near and dear to your heart besides that movie you watched?
well, it's what the Royal Alloy is styled after. It is my
Okay.
favorite of the classic scooter designs.
More than Vespa.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why.
And compared to the Stella. What is
Stella's
the Stella?
styled after a Vespa.
It's styled after a Vespa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Stella's on my list just because it's kind of the most modern two-stroke scooter you could get in the U.S. And the earlier ones were still grip shift or twist shift. But so I'm going to throw in the show notes. Cycle World did a great article. They kind of went over the history of Lambretta, kind of how we got to where we are now. They're owned by a Swiss company, or not owned. The company now is Swiss that's using the Lambretta name. But they showed off at EICMA the Lambretta Elettra, Elettra. It is an electric concept.
Mm-hmm.
Has a lot of the traditional Lambretta styling,
I'm trying to find it in this article.
but a very modern take on it.
Not it. Is there pictures in this article at all?
I don't know which article you clicked
Oh,
on.
I guess that could be a problem, huh?
Click on the second or third link under Lambretta.
Second or third? Oh, yeah, I did not. I clicked on the first.
The one that is marked History of Lambretta.
Yeah, that's the one I clicked on. Really good pictures there, by the way.
Yeah.
Just not the right ones.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
So,
very different.
yeah, tons of accent lighting on this concept.
It's
I'll be
giving
honest, I hope they
me-
get rid of most of it
It's giving me Wally came back recreated as a scooter.
as a Lambretta.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Wally vibes.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Not completely, but I understand where you're going with it.
Okay.
Interesting. I don't know if it really matters. And in one of the pictures that was showed off, the entire kind of rear cowl and seat tilts forward, kind of like an old cab over truck. Steel frame, 12-inch wheels, continuous output of 4 kilowatts, peak output of 11 kilowatts, maximum speed 110 kilometers. Not horrible, kind of where I want. Once I finally pull the trigger on an electric bike, that's kind of my threshold of where I want to be. I don't really plan on taking a small electric bike on the highway, but 110 kilometers, you're not quite 70 miles an hour. That's going to be enough on tap to do like 55 mile an hour back roads where everyone's realistically doing 60, 65 on the downhill, and hopefully have enough left in the tank to maintain 65 uphill.
Mm-hmm.
They showed off in a really cool colorway. It's like this silvery gray graphite with teal accents, which I figured you'd be a fan of.
I do, but the renderings are very rendery. They're not very photography yet.
Okay. That's fair. I don't know that they're technically renders.
They definitely look
Yeah.
like renderings.
Yeah. Charge port's interesting. Charge port is on as you're sitting on the bike on the right side that they show in the pictures. Kind of behind a little door that seems to slide backwards. I don't think we have to like graft what we've done with gasoline or internal combustion vehicles onto electric vehicles. But I don't know. It doesn't seem that crazy, but just put the charge port under the seat like a lot of bikes or a lot of scooters have their gas fill nowadays. I guess this way you could still sit on it while it's charging. I also don't see why they didn't just put it on like the backside of the leg shields. But I don't know. Hopefully,
how do you feel about it? Is it weird that it's well, I don't know. I guess it's weird sometimes seeing things that come off as really classic as electric.
It's not like, I don't know. I feel it's more weird to see like if someone took just a straight classic Lambretta and like I put an electric motor in this. I think I'd feel more mixed about that than I do this. Because this is an updated, idea. It's building upon the history of Lambretta. And it has a lot of traditional Lambretta styling cues, but modernized, right?
Mm.
So, I don't know. I thought it was cool. We will see if we ever get it in the States. I'm not holding my breath. The current Lambrettas have not made it here yet. So maybe they'll make it here by time this thing actually gets into anyone's hands. They were calling it a concept, so not the final design at this point. But it's cool. I dig it. And it supposedly is going to be able to fast charge 0 to 80% in 35 minutes.
Wow.
Which, isn't bad.
It's like a cup of coffee.
35 minutes for a cup of coffee.
Well, you're drinking it. You can't be riding when you drink coffee.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been thinking more about electric vehicles, waiting for this Moto Compacto to, materialize in my life. That Zero DS, now that it looks like the DSRX, really intrigues me. I still wish it was cheaper. An MSRP around 16,000.
Ugh.
Yeah. But it has a frunk. It has where the gas tank is, there's storage.
The standard of coolness is a frunk.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm seeing more and more where an EV could fit into my life as far as like a commuting vehicle.
You know what I've been thinking about?
What?
How a housekeeper could fit into my life.
Yeah.
I've really been thinking about
Did
it.
they make those in EVs yet? Can we get like a robot that cleans the house and also becomes a motorcycle?
I mean, if you want to ride on a Roomba.
There we go. I'll just put some ape hangers on a Roomba and ride it to work.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know that you'll get there, but.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of it for EICMA. There was a bunch of smaller stuff announced. There's plenty of coverage of that out there. I will throw kind of a bits of what I thought the best coverage was together on a blog post on the website. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
No? No sticker?
Oh, I finished it.
Okay. We're going to get pre-orders up?
We should.
Okay.
Probably by this weekend.
Okay. So, by the time you're hearing this, if you listen to it pretty soon after it drops, pre-orders will be up for
Moto Compacto.
Yeah, Moto Compacto sticker. So you can do Moto Compacto Inception and have a Moto Compacto on your Moto Compacto and be like exhibit.
Or if you want
Pit My
one and
Ride.
haven't pre-ordered one yet, you can use it on your vision board for 2024.
There you go. Yeah.
Or if you know someone who wanted one and you can't or didn't want to buy one.
Or if you have one pre-ordered and it doesn't show up in time for Christmas for whoever you're gifting your Moto Compacto to, this can be an excellent placeholder.
Oh, there you go. I'm sure they would love that.
I'll take a Moto Compacto sticker if I can't get a Moto Compacto right away.
That's the second best
Stock
thing.
levels do not seem to be trending in the right direction.
Oh, right before
And they've
Christmas.
had all kinds of website issues. They had an issue with the...
But their website was so good.
Well, no, the Dream Shop website had some issue with order status monitoring wasn't secure. You could see other people's order status
Why does
stuff.
everyone always suck at product?
Information security.
No.
Oh.
Product launching.
Yeah, it's been
The empty promises
really bad.
with vehicles,
Yeah.
too. I mean, what, is the Cybertruck even real? I mean,
almost.
When did that come
We're
out?
almost there.
What was it, like 2019 when pre-orders happened? I remember watching
man,
that
when was
preview
it?
with you. And you were like, man, I should have put like, what was it, $200 down or something silly on a
I really was into that when they first launched.
You're into
when they showed it.
anything. Like in,
No,
comes
that's
with,
not entirely true. There are plenty of things I look at and I'm just like, not for me.
and that's generally most of the stuff I like.
The things I don't like, or you like the fact that when I don't like something.
No, you don't care for the things I like.
Fair.
Which
Fair.
it keeps us balanced. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It means you don't eat my food.
Yeah. Yes. November 2019.
God,
That's
that
when they
was
announced it.
pre-pandemic. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Just all a fever dream.
When the daylight happened. Do you remember that time?
Yeah.
2019, guys. Can you imagine?
Pilot production began in July.
Pretty sure no
with
one's holding
deliveries
their
planned
breath.
to start November 30th of this year.
Wait, what's starting on November 30th?
Deliveries to customers currently scheduled or planned to start November 30th.
I'm gonna they kind of look. I mean, with us being like basically almost in a world war right now, they kind of give me army vibes. Seeing them on the streets kind of gonna be freaky.
I don't think it's that bad. The proportions have changed a bunch. I think they screwed the proportions up big time. Not that anyone asked for my opinion on the Cybertruck, but I'm going to drop it here because we're already recording.
No one can stop us.
Panel gaps are horrendous. I don't know what they're doing with the forming of some of these panels. The couple
Who's
units
funding
that have
this?
been-
This is an Elon project, right?
Yeah, it's Tesla. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can't remember.
Yep. Tesla. Elon. But yeah, panel gaps are bad. Proportions are all weird. Front end's too short compared to what they originally showed off. The back end's too high for how short the front end is, but somehow it also doesn't have a stance anymore to it. It's just weird.
Like Elon.
Yeah.
He's just weird.
But
Yeah.
it is still mostly bulletproof to small caliber weapons
I know, it's scary.
and arrow proof.
Oh, yeah, but it did dent.
He did that. Yes, he let
Rogan.
Joe Rogan shoot it with I think it was only an 80-pound draw compound bow, but
Would that have
dented it.
more? He said bulletproof. Would an arrow have something?
it's not completely
that
bulletproof.
Oh.
So it's only bulletproof up to certain grain and velocity of
do you think
projectile.
they'd
So
use them,
9mm, they shot it with a Tommy gun. I don't think they've released the video yet, but they talked about it. So that's 45 ACP unless they got some weird chambering, which is not a super high energy round.
Are the presidential vehicles more strong?
Yes, 1000%. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
So
I'm
those
gonna imagine
reinforced or
someone's gonna buy
something?
one of these and put a 223 right through the door.
What's that? Is that a gun?
It's a caliber.
Oh.
So Remington.
You imagine having the money to
223.
do that. I wonder what insurance covers. Do you think insurance covers like bullet holes?
I can't imagine someone doesn't do something to that effect. There's either going to be a disclaimer buried somewhere that tells you exactly what rounds they've tested it against, or there will be one after someone puts holes through the side of their Cybertruck and takes Tesla to court. Right? That's how I see it going down.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I'd watch that YouTube. I don't even watch YouTube, and I'd watch that one. And then maybe they can take it to Judge Judy, and I'd watch that too.
I think, let's see, Demolition Ranch might do it. Wesleyan Diesel, even though he's not really in that realm, it seems like
Wait,
something
it's cyber, so it's electric?
Yeah. It's an electric truck.
How far does it go?
300-mile range, I want to say off the top of my head.
And what's Rivian?
I don't know.
And
something
Rivian's
like that.
separate, right?
Yeah. Rivian's a different company.
We should watch them race. Or do like they did with Long Way Up, but with like all these different electric vehicles and see who gets there first.
Yeah.
You'd watch it.
Yeah, I would. I would. Do like a round the world race with different EVs?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have to be around the world, obviously you can pick up with some crazy like...
No, round the world.
I don't want like
Okay, coast to
cargo
coast.
ships and stuff. Like I want to know like the actual capabilities. You can go from like Panama to like Alaska or something, from like bottom to south. You can do extreme temperatures. I mean, you can do everything, but I wouldn't want to like skew. I don't want like something
You don't
non-vehicle
want
related.
logistics to cause an issue.
Yeah, like I think it should
Yeah.
be purely the vehicle.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want like a cargo ship getting lost affecting like the results.
Yeah. That's a funny thought. Yeah. No, I think someone should do that. I'd watch it.
We'd watch it. So if you've got one of each out there, if you got a Rivian, a Cybertruck,
If you have a production company,
and a Tesla
too
and-
much money, and want ideas for a race among EVs, we're here for you.
we'll let you borrow ours.
Yeah. Or what, EV?
Oh, no, our ideas.
Oh.
We don't have EVs.
Not yet.
We'll let you borrow our
Not
Moto Compacto.
Yeah, not until the Honda dealer calls.
Oh my goodness.
So, all right. Well, I think that's an episode. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, see you next week.
Bye.